Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to episode 3 of Chris's favorite pen, ink, and paper combinations. So let's dive right in. Today's pen is the Pilot Petit one. It's been with me a long time. It's one of my favorites for certain things, and we'll get into that. It does have a fine nib, which is how they come. I would kind of call it a fine to medium nib, and I am not eyedroppering it. I'm actually just using it with a refilled cartridge, just like I have been for quite a while. I eyedroppered one once and it wasn't my favorite thing, so it can be done, and I know people who do it all the time and have success, but I'd rather just keep refilling my cartridge. And then the ink today is the Heart of Darkness by Noodlers, and this is a 4.5 ounce, and I've calculated that. I think it's 135 mils of ink. So, very nice big supply of ink, and when you get it, it comes in a box. It also has a pen, a free pen, a little eyedropper pen called a Charlie pen. I'm not sure exactly what they're giving out now, but on the Goulet site, it still says it comes with a free pen, so that's awesome. Kind of gives you a little bit more for your money even. And then the paper today is primarily Rhodia. So this is Rhodia 80 GSM graph. And these are the ones that I got real inexpensively, but they still are not super expensive paper. It's a little pricey though for my budget. It runs around $10 or $11 for one of these. It's called a reverse book, I think. Let's see. I think there's going to be glare when I show that part, but yeah, it says reverse book. And anyway, when we get into the paper portion this time, there's more than one paper that really super does good with this, but currently this is one of my absolute favorites. How the Rhodia does with this particular pen and ink just really suits me. So let's go ahead and look at what the ink looks like on the tile. That's something I always like to look at right off the bat. Here it is, and you can see it has a lot of water resistance, but it's not quite like Noodler's Lexington Grey, where, I mean, that stuff just won't move around. That is really bulletproof. And so keep that in mind, but still, I really kind of like how things go. Let me show you the bath test. Here is the bath test on this paper with this pen and ink. Okay, and it's 20 minutes submerged, and then the paper's still drying because actually I almost forgot to do this part of the test. We can look on the back. We don't see any bleed through when we do the actual writing, and we'll do that in a minute. But it's funny because the Noodler's Lexington Grey kind of looked like it had bled through, but once it was completely dry, it was different. So I got to get these done more ahead of time. That's my bad. But anyway, it still looks really good, but it's not quite as crisp as it is when we first write. So it lifts just a little bit up, not much. Okay, so let's see, we looked at the tile bath test. Okay, I think it's time to do a writing sample, which is the part where I have a little bit of struggle here in my alternate studio, so I'm going to have to use my ink journal notebook. I've actually tried this, and then go ahead and, well, we're going to blow it up a little, and hopefully I can get it to work the first time, but if not, we'll keep going. I found that having this in the vicinity helped, gave something for it to focus on. Let's see. I think that's going to help. Okay, so we've got Pilot Petit. Petit, am I spelling it right? Yep, 1 with a fine nib, and Noodler's Heart of Darkness. All right, okay. So it's nice and crisp, and for the purpose I'm using it right now, which I'm going to show you in a minute, it is just perfect. It doesn't have to go on super wet, but it does go on really well. I'm just wishing that I could show you a little bit better. But I am having a lot of trouble over here. I can't do this over where my kitten is, so it's driving me absolutely bananas, but he's growing up every day. Every day we're a step closer to going back where we were. Okay, let's just see if we can't get the sentence on there. liquid brown. Actually, I should be printing because that's what I'm doing mostly with this. It's very reliable. This pen, I pick it up, it writes every single time. You know, in fact, it's so reliable that I have to watch it with my pen maintenance and, you know, make sure that I'm kind of cleaning up here, making sure that black ink doesn't pool up here, because if it does, and I do want to tell you about that, because if it does, what happens is you get some staining in here. You can get your little plastic cap stained, and then you'll be like me and you'll have a ruined one, and you don't want that, believe me. But if you just take a Q-tip every now and then and make sure that you clean that little part out, you're good. And I don't clean these anymore because I found out how long it takes to dry the wick. So I just keep running a certain color through, and that just is what works for me. And if you do happen to drop the pen and get a splatter, I would just recommend go ahead and rinse it out and deal with it with a Q-tip right away, because I did ruin a cap. I don't like to have a bunch of staining on my cap. So let's see. I just feel like it's perfect. We're not talking about a bright ink here. We're talking about one that's very utilitarian, but it works really well. And what I'm using it for, let's see. I think we can now not be quite so close, and I can go ahead and show you. With all that paper, I'm making these little inserts for my eating journal. So this is it right here, and I promised I'd tell you about the other paper that I really like this for. So this is the current one I'm using right now, but I'm making a whole bunch more little passport inserts to go in, so I don't have to go around spending my money on these, although these are really nice. Still, I like the little ones I make because I end up with 32 pages, so it's 1 month, and I have a little box I keep all those in. So let me show you. This pen here works really good on this paper. It's actually by Philosopher's Guild, and I find them at the Half Price bookstore, but you can find them, I think, on Amazon too. I've seen them there. It's Unemployed Philosopher's Guild, and they have different covers. This one just happens to be the stargazing. So whatever I'm using for my food journal, it's really nice to have a little pen like this with it, especially one this size. It's so small, but it writes really good in here. Let's see. We're having to jerry-rig things. Okay, so Pilot. Oh, I forgot a couple of things. Of course I did. With Noodlers. Heart of Darkness. I'm on kind of a deadline today. You'd think I wouldn't be, but I am. Okay, so I don't need to... Oh, there I am with those dollar signs again. What's going on in my mind? Anyway, the main thing I wanted to show you was what I forgot to show you on the other notebook. And that is that I'm not getting bleed through, which is so fantastic. This is where our other writing sample was that I just did. And there's just absolutely no bleed through. Rhodia is good paper, so that's amazing. But this paper here, it also does not bleed through. There's hardly any shadowing even. So, and you know, not everything can claim that. So this is a fairly dry nib. It's not just coming out of there like a fire hose, but it's just so super reliable, so economical because of this big bottle and everything, and just being able to refill those cartridges. I debated about showing you because I thought, well, this isn't very glamorous. I don't even have a matching cap on this right now. I have a blue-black cap on a black pen. But that's because I've put off ordering another black one, but I did ruin my other cap. And I wish I had it to show you, because it really is a mess, and it's I may have thrown it away in exasperation, frustration, but it was because I let too much time go by of splattering, and I wasn't being vigilant and keeping this part clean. And it really, I'm talking about way too long, because if you get it right away, you're not going to have that problem. Okay, so then I just wanted to talk real quick about you know, overall here, what I like about it so much. First off, the pen is extremely comfortable. It's got that nice grip and it's perfect sized. And when I'm gonna to go, I just put it like this. And I just put it, you know, any way I want with this. I can, you know, make sure I'm not going to lose it, but it's super small. It'll go right in my pocket, and it's often in my, like, hoodie pocket, you know, and that's something I really love. I love the fact that this pen is under $4, and the ink is very economical. If I've done the math right, it's somewhere around 14 cents a mil. And it's just great ink. I love it myself. And then the Rhodia paper, that's just a happy thing that I ended up getting all of that paper on sale like that. But it also works super well on the CVS Caliber paper. So this episode's a little different. I really am trying to focus just on one paper ink pen combination, but since we were here, I did want to let you know that this writes perfectly good on that CVS Caliber paper. It dries even faster on here. But it dries super fast on the Rhodia too, and really you don't get much of a smear. Let's see. Guess you can tell I'm all over the place. Let's get it back over here though to do that. If I just do a little scribble and then a smear, it's not much of a smear. You could tell that it's a little bit dry, but for something like this, I like that because I close that book right away. I jog down what I've eaten in this book, and I close it right away. And so I do like kind of a fairly dry combination there, which is not me at all. If you know me for other things, and definitely for letter writing, I don't like that. But for this, I super do. So it's been really nice to know that I could make all these little booklets myself and end up with wonderful paper where if I'm not using this pen, fine, I can use any of my fountain pens on it. I'm hoping that this will be of use to you. Like I said, the pen is under $4, and then the ink turns out to be, it's $19 at Goulet, and you get a free pen with it. And then Rhodia paper, that varies. You know, it comes in all different sizes, and if you walk in a thrift store and see some, grab it. Just grab it. And I had to go back and grab it because I was debating, which was silly. But the Rhodia paper, in my estimation, is not overpriced, and it's a nice middle of the line. It's a quality paper, so it's going to be just wonderful. So let me know on things like this that are like utilitarian purpose. What are your favorite combinations? Because obviously I'm not going to write letters with this. I don't care to. Yeah, that just wouldn't, it would always be a broad nib with a really bright colored ink, or maybe a dark colored, but something distinctive where the broad or stub nib would show it off. But for filling out something that I want as a record like this every single day, all the time, this is perfect for me. And it's an old favorite, so I wanted to share it with you. So I'll let you go for now. I've gone over the 10 minutes, even though I was aiming not to, but we might have to make it 15 minutes. So let me know in the comments what your favorite combinations are for these kind of quick notes. I'm likely to do grocery list with this and carry it right in my pocket to the store. It's wonderful, and it won't break the bank in my estimation. So I'll see you next time, and thank you very much for being here. Bye for now.